Hello. Welcome back to LTC Heroes Live by Experience Care. My name is Peter Murphy Lewis. I'm your host. I'm at LeadingAge Nebraska, my first time, but as we say, we leave the best for last. Jeff Heedum and I have been chatting at all the social hours, and he's unique because he's the first person I've ever on here that works in a GPO. He's the regional manager at HCIS and MetaBill Systems. Jeff, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Peter. Nice to be here.
Jeff, let's start off. I was warning you right before the transition jumped in. Talk to me in layman's terms. What is a GPO and what do you do?
Okay, a GPO is a contract portfolio that is really leveraged by the collective buying power of our members. The concept is we want to keep costs down for our clients, lock in pricing programs with suppliers and distributors and manufacturers to allow them to meet their ever more complicated budgets.
Yeah. Jeff, the reason that I wanted to have you on is not to embarrass me because I don't know anything. It's because you're amazing with people, and I can tell that you love working with long-term care givers, but you're on the back end of things. Why did you choose this industry? Tell me your long-term care initiation story.
Well, that could be another podcast in itself. The short story, I guess you could say, is... it's a pretty cool story. My dad started our business back in the early part of the 80s. I want to say we're coming up on our 40th year this year, and it's a really neat story. Again, I won't launch into all of that, but my entry into the business was it was never intentional. He told me all along, Jeff, you got to go work for somebody else. This is not going to work. We would clash. It's going to be a bad fit. So I graduated from college, and I thought I was going to go out and do something else. And then he called me up after graduation and said, "All right, buddy, I think we're going to bring you on board, but don't make me regret this." He said, every employee that he's ever hired, he says, people make mistakes, right? I gave everybody 3 strikes, and then we got to make a change. He says, "You're coming on board with 2 strikes." So here I am 25 years later, and I always say I've been fouling them off ever since. But it's been a really good career. Our company's got a great culture. We've got a lot of long-time employees. A lot of people have been with the company longer than me. Like I said, 25 years for me. We've got employees that have been there longer. So we really take care of our people. Our culture, is to take care of our customers. And so when you ask, what drew me to this or what kept me here really was seeing some of the interactions that I see between staff members and residents in the buildings that we visit when I'm on a customer call. Can be pretty moving. And like we talked, I don't have that caregiver gene. But I want to help the people that are helping other people. And so that's what, keeps me committed to this.
What did you learn from your father?
He's tenacity, resiliency. He was a guy that took a leap of faith in his, I'm going to say, mid-30s when he started HCIS and was a one-man show and just through a lot of hard work and relationship building with the suppliers that became part of our portfolio. He built the whole thing. And again, it's I could launch into a bigger story, but you learn hard work, you learn how to connect with people, you learn relationship skills, and he's just he's not the most warm fuzzy I love you son type of guy, but man, I respect the man.
Tell me about what makes you all different and letting you think about how you're going to answer that. I just want to share that I thought it was beautiful how you kind of answered that before we hit recording, and you talked about your process and the way that you treat your clients and your customers. And I'll use my words, and then you can make it much more sophisticated. The way I interpret it is the way that you help clients with assessment is very qualitative before it ever turns into a number. These are people. Then we can talk about numbers. How would you describe it?
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it, really. It's in our world, it'd be pretty easy to engage with a new customer, load up all your agreements, get all the suppliers aligned, the contracts are in place, and disappear. Because it works, right? It just kind of continues down the road. Contracts get renewed naturally, and it'd be really easy not to have an ongoing relationship with a customer. But it's been conditioned in us as salespeople out here and employees of HCIS that we want to be engaged for the long term. And we really help with the onboarding. Yes, we identify, benchmark where we're at. But let's talk about goals. Where are we going from here? And then put in strategic, systems and processes and ways to kind of help manage budget, manage cost. Because like I mentioned earlier, we might have a great contract price in our medical surgical department. Okay, I mean, up and down with all those vendors, but we still see customers of ours that experience inflated costs. Okay, but if the price is right, the contract is loaded, there theoretically shouldn't be, an inflation in cost. So let's identify what's the problem. Are we carrying too much inventory? Are we throwing product away too soon? What's going on that's keeping us from, optimizing our efficiencies? And so those are the things that we do ongoing and through business reviews and just, events like this where we can connect with our customers and talk about their issues, put a game plan together to keep us, in that relationship for the long term.
Jeff, I want to talk about why HCIS supports this convention and why you come to this community. And the audience needs to know that I didn't tell you I was going to, thank you for this, but you helped pay for the pack dinner on Monday night or on Tuesday night when I came. And when you left the tab open, you left your credit card, and all of us got beer because of you. And you're supporting something, and you weren't even there to schmooze with us or network, and you're just supporting this association from the bottom up. Why is this community so important to you?
Well, again, I learned early on in my career that you can't do everything on your own. These associations are powerful. So we really try to support, all the associations really that we are connected to because we see the power. When you talk about a PAC, dinner, political action is big. To have a seat at the table with our lawmakers and our departments with the state that are influencing, regs and reimbursements and all the things that keep these buildings, compliant and quality driven and financially, viable. We'd be remiss if we weren't at the table as well. So through sponsorships and exhibiting here today and different things that we do to support the associations is our way of giving back and really showing our customers that it's more than simply a transaction when you do business with HCIS because we are in the family with you.
As we start to wrap up, Jeff, I want to ask you, what's the favorite part of your job? And I'll phrase it in the following way. Let's say next week you're going to work 45 to 55 hours. What's 1 hour in that week that if your teammates, if your business partners said, Jeff, we can't afford that, you said, I'll do that for free. What's that 1 hour for free that you'd do?
Fill in the blank. I mean, I get a lot of fulfillment in helping people. And when the phone calls come in and say, Jeff, I got a problem or I have a question and I really don't know if I have an answer and I don't know if you're the guy that has an answer. I really like trying to connect dots and get people aligned with other people, other businesses, whether they're part of the HCIS portfolio or not. I've got some examples of, good friends that are here, that sell equipment and supplies. They're not connected to us, contractually, but they're the right solution. And so I really like introducing our customers to people and solutions. And I take a lot of pride in that, and I really enjoy that part of my job.
I lied to you, Jeff. I have one more closing question.
I'm here all day.
Where do you get your optimism, that extra energy that you have, the magical touch that you have with everyone that you talk to? Everyone who meets you is going to remember Jeff and going to remember your organization. Who'd you get that from?
I'm sure I got it naturally through both of my parents. I feel like I got a lot of the good out of both of them. But I really think it's, I've had some times in my life where I really wasn't sure, what I was going to do or who I was going to be or where I was going to go. And it got a little dark, and someday the light bulb just went on and I'm like, you know what, be grateful. Things could be a lot worse for you. And so I just kind of turned a corner at some point in my life and chose positivity and optimism as opposed to, the other. And really that's where things just kind of blew up. I met my wife doing conventions and trade shows like this, and she's been wonderful and a great influence on me. And it's just, life got pretty good there after a while, and that's where it comes from.
Jeff, thanks so much for joining me on LTC Heroes, but as a vendor and a supporter, we're here at LeadingAge Nebraska in part because of your support. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Peter. Really enjoyed it.